My name is Daniel, and this is the story of how my stepmother destroyed my life. Or at least she tried to. I was only 17 when she sent me away. My mother had died when I was just a boy, and my father remarried when I was 10. At first, I thought my stepmother, Grace, was just strict. But as I grew older, I realized she hated me. Maybe I reminded her too much of my mother, or maybe she just wanted me out of the way so that everything my father owned would belong to her and her children. One evening, I came home from school and found my bag packed by the door. Grace stood in the living room, her arms crossed and an ugly smirk on her face. "You're leaving tonight," she said coldly. "Your father isn't here to save you. I told him you ran away." My heart pounded. What? Where am I supposed to go? She threw an envelope at me. "There's a little money in there. Don't come back. If you try, I'll tell the police you stole from us." I wanted to fight back, to scream, to tell my father, but she had planned everything. She knew he was away on a business trip, and she had convinced everyone, even the neighbors, that I was a troubled child. If I went to the police, who would believe me? I had no choice but to leave. That night, I wandered the streets, lost and afraid. I had nowhere to go, no one to turn to. I used the little money she gave me to buy some food and find a cheap place to sleep. But as the days passed, the money ran out and I had to survive on my own. I slept in abandoned buildings, begged for food, and did small jobs just to get by. One evening, as I sat by the roadside, exhausted and hopeless, an old man approached me. He had been watching me for a while. "You look like you need help, son," he said. "I run a small workshop. It's not much, but if you're willing to work hard, I can give you a place to stay and a little pay." It was the first real kindness I had received in a long time. I nodded eagerly and followed him. The workshop was small, filled with old tools and half-finished projects. It smelled of oil and wood, a scent that would soon become familiar. The work was tough, but I was grateful for it. I learned to fix machines, repair furniture, and even build small items. The old man, Mr. Benson, became a mentor to me. "Life is tough, boy," he said one night as we sat by the fire. "But the trick is to keep moving forward. You were meant for more than this. One day you'll look back at this time and realize it made you stronger." His words stuck with me. I worked harder, saved every little penny, and made a plan. I wouldn't be a victim forever. I was going to fight my way back, no matter how long it took. I promised myself that one day I would return, not as a beggar, but as someone she would regret ever throwing away. Years passed. Life was cruel, but I fought my way through it. I worked hard, learned new skills, and found people who helped me. But I never stopped thinking about my father. Did he look for me? Did he believe I really ran away? One day I heard shocking news. Grace had left my father. Not only that, but before she left, she had sold several of his properties. She tricked him, forging documents and making deals behind his back. By the time he discovered the truth, she was long gone, living in another city with all the money she had stolen. I had long stopped searching for answers about her, but this news reignited something in me. I had to go back. I had to find my father. I couldn't imagine what he was going through, losing not just his wealth, but the woman he had trusted. I left the workshop behind, thanked Mr. Benson for everything, and made my way home. When I arrived in my hometown, everything looked smaller. The streets felt familiar yet distant, like a past life I had tried to forget. I went to our old house, but it was no longer ours. Strangers lived there. No one had answers about my father until I found an old friend of his, Mr. Jacobs, who ran a small convenience store. His face fell when he saw me. "Daniel, my God, is it really you? Your father, he's been through a lot. He lives on the outskirts of town now, in a small place. He lost everything." I felt a lump in my throat as I made my way there. When I found him, my heart broke. He was sitting outside a small rundown house, staring at the ground. His once strong frame was now thin, his hair fully gray. He looked up as I approached, his tired eyes searching my face. "Dad," I said softly. For a moment he just stared. Then his lips trembled and his eyes filled with tears. "Daniel, is it really you?" I rushed to him, embracing him as he sobbed in my arms. "I never ran away, Dad. He lied to you. She sent me away." His sobs grew louder. I knew it. Deep down I knew it. But I was blind, son. I was blind. We sat for hours, talking, crying, and filling in the missing years. I told him everything, how I had struggled, how I had fought, and how I had finally found my way back. He told me how he had searched for me, but Grace had covered her tracks too well. When he lost everything, he had no choice but to accept his fate. But I refused to let it end like this. I had learned business, made connections, and I wasn't the poor boy Grace had left to suffer. I had returned with purpose. I promised him that I would make things right. We would rise again, and this time no one would tear us down. The days that followed were filled with determination. My father had lost everything, but he hadn't lost me. That was something money couldn't replace. I knew I had to rebuild, not just for myself but for him too. I had learned so much from Mr. Benson and from the harsh lessons life had thrown at me. I had skills, knowledge, and most importantly, a fire in my heart that refused to be extinguished. I spent time with my father, listening to everything he had been through. He had tried to fight for his properties, but Grace had used legal tricks to keep him from reclaiming anything. With no one to help him, he had accepted his fate. But I couldn't accept it. I had to do something. I started with the small things. I found him better clothes, cleaned up his little house, and made sure he ate well. Then I focused on a plan. The business skills I had learned at the workshop had given me an eye for opportunities. I looked around town, studied what people needed, and found my way in. I took small jobs fixing broken furniture, repairing machines, anything that could earn me money. Slowly I started saving. But that wasn't enough. I needed something bigger. That's when I met an old acquaintance, Mr. Lawson, a businessman who used to know my father. He was shocked to see me. "Daniel, you've grown. I thought you disappeared. Your father, he's been through a lot." I didn't waste time with formalities. "Mr. Lawson, I need your help. My father lost everything, but I want to rebuild. I have skills, I'm hardworking, and I'm not looking for handouts. I just need an opportunity." He studied me for a long moment before nodding. "Come to my office tomorrow. Let's talk business." That meeting changed everything. Mr. Lawson saw potential in me. He gave me a small investment to start a furniture repair business. It wasn't much, but it was a start. I worked day and night, taking every job I could. My name started to spread. Daniel, the hardworking young man who never gave up. My father watched with pride as I built something from nothing. He started helping me too, finding customers and managing small tasks. It felt good to see him smile again. Months passed and the business grew. I expanded into crafting custom furniture, something unique to attract more customers. With my earnings, I moved my father into a better house, something small but comfortable. The past had taken so much from us, but we were taking back our future. One evening, as we sat outside, my father looked at me with tears in his eyes. "You brought me back to life, son. I thought I had lost everything, but you proved that I still have everything that matters." But I wasn't done yet. Grace had stolen from us, and I wasn't going to let her get away with it. I had spent time gathering information, finding out where she was and what she had done with my father's properties. The time had come to confront the woman who had tried to destroy us. Finding Grace was not easy, but I was determined. I had spent months gathering every piece of information I could about her whereabouts. She had moved to another city, living a lavish lifestyle off the money she had stolen from my father. She thought she had won, that her past would never catch up to her. But she was wrong. I wasn't the same helpless boy she had thrown out. I had built myself up from nothing, and now it was time to take back what belonged to us. I traveled to the city where she was living and found out she owned a boutique in an upscale neighborhood. It was clear she had done well for herself using my father's wealth. I watched from a distance, studying her every move. She walked with confidence, dressed in expensive clothes, and acted like she had never done anything wrong. But I knew the truth. I decided to confront her in a way she would never forget. Instead of barging in with anger, I planned carefully. I found out that her boutique had some financial troubles. She owed money to suppliers, and if she didn't pay soon, her business would start crumbling. It was the perfect opportunity to strike. I approached one of her biggest suppliers and made him an offer. I had saved enough money and gained the trust of several businessmen who respected my work ethic. Together, we offered to buy out Grace's debt. But there was one condition: she would have to meet with the person clearing her debt. She had no idea it was me. When the meeting was set, I walked into her office, and the moment she saw me, her face went pale. For the first time, she looked afraid. I took a seat across from her and smiled. "It's been a long time, Grace. Did you miss me?" She swallowed hard, trying to regain her composure. "Daniel, what are you doing here?" I leaned forward. "I came to collect what you stole." She tried to deny it, but the fear in her eyes betrayed her. I laid everything out in front of her: how she forged documents, how she sold my father's properties behind his back, and how she abandoned him when he had nothing left. You thought you could get away with it forever, didn't you? I said, watching her squirm. But the past has a way of catching up. And now you're trapped. Your business is failing, your debts are piling up, and I own every single one of them. She was speechless. She had spent years running, but now there was nowhere left to hide. What do you want? She finally asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I want justice, I said. I want my father's properties back. I want you to admit what you did, and I want you to know that everything you built on lies is coming down. She had no choice. I had the upper hand and she knew it. I made her sign over the remaining assets she still controlled that rightfully belonged to my father. I made sure she had nothing left to hold on to. As I walked out of her office, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. It wasn't about revenge. It was about restoration. My father had suffered enough, and now we had taken back what was ours. When I returned home and handed him the documents, he broke down in tears. You did this for us, he said, his voice shaking. I never thought I would see this day. I hugged him tightly. We survived, Dad. And now we rebuild. With the properties returned, I worked on restoring everything my father had lost. It wasn't just about money. It was about reclaiming our dignity. People who once turned their backs on him started respecting him again. The shame Grace had brought upon him was erased, replaced by the strength of a son who refused to let his father's legacy be destroyed. I opened a larger business, expanding beyond furniture repair. My father helped manage it, and together we built something greater than we had before. The pain of the past didn't disappear, but it became the foundation of our new strength. One evening, as we sat on the balcony of our new home, my father looked at me with pride. You turned our suffering into something beautiful, Daniel, he said. You proved that no matter how deep someone tries to bury you, if you have the will, you can rise again. I nodded, feeling the truth in his words. We are not victims, Dad. We are survivors. And no one can take that away from us. The past had tried to break us, but in the end it only made us stronger. We had reclaimed what was ours, not just in wealth but in spirit. And as I looked at my father, sitting beside me with a peaceful smile, I knew that we had truly won. If this story inspired you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss more powerful stories like this. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep encouraging each other to overcome life's challenges together.